everyone. Today we are doing lesson 69, My Grievances Hide the Light of the World in Me, and chapter 7, The Gifts of the Kingdom, section 7, The Totality of the Kingdom. All right, let's begin. Chapter 7, The Gifts of the Kingdom, section 7, The Totality of the Kingdom. 1. Whenever you deny a blessing to a brother, you will feel deprived because denial is as total as love. It is as impossible to deny part of the sonship as it is to love it in part. Nor is it possible to love it totally at times. You cannot be totally committed sometimes. Denial has no power in itself. But you can give it the power of your mind, whose power is without limit. If you use it to deny reality, reality is gone for you. Reality cannot be partly appreciated. That is why denying any part of it means you have lost the awareness of all of it. Yet denial is a defense, and so it is as capable of being used positively as well as negatively. Used negatively, it will be destructive because it will be used for attack. But in the service of the Holy Spirit, it can help you recognize part of reality and thus appreciate all of it. Mind is too powerful to be subject to exclusion. You will never be able to exclude yourself from your thoughts. Wow, that says a lot. So I'm being told to break it down in twos. So that'll be, 2 sentences. Whenever you deny a blessing to a brother, you will feel deprived because denial is as total as love. It is as impossible to deny part of the sonship as it is to love it in part. So what that's talking about right there, folks, is that it's an all or nothing. You can't love someone a little bit or partly. You either love them entirely for who they are or you don't really love them. And if you are denying your brother, in those moments you are denying yourself, because anything you would hold away and keep away from them, you will then be keeping away from yourself. Does that sound right?
Yes.
All right, let's continue on with this. Nor is it possible to love it totally at times. You cannot be totally committed sometimes. Okay, and this is true. You can't begin something and then just give up halfway through it and be like, oh, I don't really feel like doing this anymore. It's like what I had shared with you guys at the beginning of all of these lessons. Once you start, you can take as long as you want with a lesson, but don't falter, continue the lessons. It is that continuation that helps build stability and helps to build understanding within you. So when you're doing this stuff, understand that you cannot love something partially. And you can't commit yourself to it only sometimes. It doesn't work that way. I don't know how else to explain that.
I think you're doing just fine.
Okay. So it continues on here. Denial has no power in itself, but you can give it the power of your mind, whose power is without limit. If you use it to deny reality, reality is gone for you. So, to deny that something's real or truthful when it's real and truthful will do you no good. It won't disappear. It won't go puff. I'm gone. And it's only when you put belief behind that denial, because you're choosing to believe in something else, that you find yourself able to deny something, but recognize you will only be able to deny it for so long, because that denial is going to eat at you from within. And it will continue eating at you until you choose to look at it, because it's in conflict with what is the truth.
I'm getting reminded about something that happened just a little while ago on Facebook. Somebody said, "You are not the Holy Son of God." And my understanding is that is judgment and projection of what he believes about himself.
It's true. It's all projection. It's what he's choosing to believe about himself. So, you can deny what's the truth in front of you, what is reality, but you can only do it for so long. And one of the things that's being brought to my mind right now would be I want to say it was World War II with the Holocaust, and how many folks would put their head down and say nothing as they watched their neighbors, their friends being dragged away. And part of my understanding that I'm being given of that is that in those moments, they were keeping their head down, not wanting attention drawn to them, because if you had attention, you ran the risk of being dragged away yourself. And in many ways, what we have been taught to do is to keep our heads down and not bring attention to ourselves for fear of being dragged away.
Don't make waves, don't cause trouble.
Exactly. Don't ask questions. Just do what you're told, when you're told, and how you're told to do it. Don't ask questions. You ask questions and you're going to get it. You get what I'm saying? So that kind of energy perspective, that's what it's talking about there. You can deny it for only so long before it comes back to haunt you again and again and again. And just like what happened back then, it wasn't long before them not standing up and saying something, they were suddenly being dragged away too, while no one said anything about that. Let's continue with this. Reality cannot be partly excuse me. Reality cannot be partly appreciated. That is why denying any part of it means you have lost the awareness of all of it. This is true, folks. You cannot appreciate only one little small portion of it and hate the rest. If you do that, reality will disappear for you. All of the truths that are shown to you will just poof and disappear, because you will be choosing to believe in the illusion again. Let's continue with this. Yet denial is a defense, and so it is as capable of being used positively as well as negatively. Used negatively, it will be destructive because it will be used for attack. This is true. When you are listening and observing your brothers around you, and they are quibbling between themselves, you can hear them defending their stance and attacking their brother, using name calling, bashing of friends, relatives, belief systems, all kinds of things, and even coming to violence at times. And it's those kinds of things that it's talking about there, is that you will use your denial as a defense, and you will use it to destroy anyone who does not agree with you. Think about that. Anytime someone is disagreeing with you and you are immediately getting angry and upset about it, why? Is it because they aren't thinking and believing as you do? And if so, why is that bothering you? Let's continue this. But in the service of the Holy Spirit, it can help you recognize part of reality and thus appreciate all of it. Mind is too powerful to be subject to exclusion. And this is true, folks. When you hand everything over to Holy Spirit and you ask for His direction and understanding, He can help you recognize the truth of what it is you are choosing to do in those moments, and He will help you understand the choices you're making, and to help you understand that you can choose again. So mind is too powerful to be subject to exclusion. So our minds are very powerful. What we focus our attention on and our beliefs on is what we manifest before us. We project those beliefs out before us. So we manifest them in our lives. That is how powerful our mind is. Think about all those nasty, icky things you've thought about time and again and had playing in the back of your mind, and how they would just all of a sudden play out in front of you and the people around you. And you're just going, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Well, you've been thinking about it, dwelling on it, focusing on it. You manifest it. That's how powerful the mind is. This is why it cannot be excluded. In this last sentence, you will never be able to exclude yourself from your thoughts. And this is true, folks. You cannot exclude yourself because your thoughts are part of you. They are what you are identifying yourself with. Those are the beliefs you've been taught and handed and chosen for yourself to believe in. Alex?
When a brother acts insanely, he is offering you an opportunity to bless him. His need is yours. You need the blessing you can offer him. There is no way for you to have it except by giving it. This is the law of God, and it has no exceptions. What you deny, you lack, not because it is lacking, but because you have denied it in another and are therefore not aware of it in yourself. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are, and what you want to be is what you think you are. What you want to be then must determine every response you make.
Yeah.
again, that this brings up the whole idea and dialogue about, somebody saying to somebody else, you're not the Holy Son of God. That's just projection that they don't believe themselves to be the Holy Son of God.
Absolutely. Yeah, it matters not what your brother chooses to think and believe. It matters not what they are choosing to do, say, or how they choose to react. Whatever it is they choose to do, that's their choice. What matters here is what you choose to do, what you choose to think, say, and react to. And it, in this way, the way it says it here, when they choose to act insanely by continuing to believe something even after you've shared with them a truth, that is okay. That's their right. They are allowed to do this. Allow them. When the time is right, your words will play back over in their mind, and they will know the truth of them here in their heart. Because believe it or not, all these things that are being shared with them will come back to their mind when it is appropriate and they are ready to hear it. So in that respect, give them your blessing because they are needing it just as you are, especially if you are going to choose to believe in the insanity that they are choosing to believe in. See what I mean? And as it says here, there's no way to get it except by giving it. When you give and give it freely, that acceptance and allowance, it becomes reciprocated. When you allow them to be as they choose to be without judging them, they will reciprocate it. Maybe not at first, but the more you choose to be the example of it, the more they will begin to understand and reciprocate. And as it says here, this is the law of God, not man. We are so bogged down with the laws of man, we forget to remember we are only beholden to the laws of God. What you give is what you receive. What you put out is what you get back. You exist because you are eternal. You cannot not exist. You know what it was saying here? What you deny, you lack, not because it is lacking, but because you have denied it in another and are therefore not aware of it in yourself. So, as Alex was just saying, someone was telling him that he is not the Holy Son of God. That right there was a projection of what they are choosing to believe of themselves. That judgment they handed out there is their belief about themselves, that they are not a holy son of God. And that would bring questions to my mind of, well, why do you believe you are not a holy son of God? Why do you feel you are unworthy of that name and title? And when he denies his brother that, he denies it in himself. So recognize when you are judging your brother, you are denying them their right to be as they choose.
And you're judging yourself.
And you are telling everyone what you judge yourself to be. And keep in mind, as it says here, every response you make is determined by what you think you are. And what you want to be is what you think you are. So what you are judging everybody else out there to be is what you think you are. Think about that, folks. Everything you judge another to be is what you believe yourself to be. Think about that. And everything that you choose to believe yourself to be is what you are going to then project out and believe everyone else around you to be as well. So what you want to be then must determine every response you make to your brothers, because you will be coming from that belief. And most of those beliefs you hold on to, you've been taught. They were handed to you. All those labels handed to you when you were a child. You're good, you're bad, you're right, you're wrong, you're a girl, you're a boy. You're a man, you're a woman. Don't do this, don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Do as you're told.
Good boys do this. Good girls do that.
Bad boys do this. Bad girls do this.
Don't be a bad boy. Don't be a bad girl kind of thing.
Yeah. Constant judgments. And it's reinforced through our families, where we learn that that's where we're supposed to be accepting the judgments and opinions and labels. They teach them to us, just as they were taught to them and to the ones before them. And we then understand that, well, once we accept those judgments that they've handed to us, we then find we have to accept them from society, our peers, our teachers, our bosses, the government. We're suddenly not able to make any choices and decisions for ourselves that resonate within our own hardest truth, because we're constantly blindly following the dictates of somebody else. All right. Any more?
Nope, I think you're in paragraph 3.
Yep. All right, let's continue. You do not need God's blessing because that you have forever, but you do need yours. The ego's picture of you is deprived, unloving, and vulnerable. You cannot love this, yet you can very easily escape from this image by leaving it behind. You are not there, and that is not you. Do not see this picture in anyone, or you have accepted it as you. All illusions about the sonship are dispelled together as they were made together. Teach no one that he is what you would not want to be. Your brother is the mirror in which you see the image of yourself as long as perception lasts. And perception will last until the sonship knows itself as whole. You made perception, and it must last as long as you want it. All right. So what this is talking about, folks, up here in the first 2 sentences, is that God, the moment you were created, gave you his full blessings to be as he created you. And it is not his blessings that we need or need to ask for. It is our own blessings, because our blessings are just as powerful. And it's our blessings that we will be handing forward to our brothers. That's what makes them powerful. And the ego's picture of us, as it says here, will have you picturing yourself as being deprived, unlovable, and vulnerable. So it will have you feeling guilt, shame, and fear. Guilt, shame, and fear. These things have all been handed to you, taught to you. This way of thinking with the ego thought system. And those are the things that you have been taught to believe are true. That thing with your parents. You're to do this a certain way, and if you don't do this, you go to bed without any dinner. You get hit. You got to go stand in a corner. Some kind of punishment. And what was it that we were talking about the other night?
When I was sent to my room and
Yes.
I wasn't told how long I had to be in my room, I would have to come out of my room and say, "Can I come out yet?" And I would have to tell my parents, my dad particularly, what it was I did wrong and how sorry I am before I'd be allowed to come out of my room. And they would be grudgingly.
Yeah. It's that kind of stuff that all of us have gone through in different levels of harshness, for lack of a better term. I can't think of the word. But those are the things that we have been taught, and one of the methods that we have been taught it. And like for me, a lot of it was violence. It was ostracism, not being treated like everybody else, and understanding that I was being treated differently. And all of those things that we were taught to believe that we're deprived and unlovable and all those things, we can't love that. There's no possible way in fucking hell, people, you could ever love that kind of feeling, that kind of treatment. Think about that. You did not like it as a child yourself. So here's a question. Do you really want to pass that kind of treatment, that kind of conditioning onto your own children? To your nieces and nephews? Your grandchildren? The neighbor's children? Think about that. Everything that you've been taught, you pass on to the ones that come in behind you. You pass on to everyone that crosses your path. You know, as it says here, you can easily escape from this image that the ego would have you believe of yourself. And it's simply to ask for the truth of who you are and to quit believing everything that you have been taught to believe defines you. To question all those things that you had been taught to believe and recognize that none of them are true. Also recognize you must do this work and look at these things within yourself. Let them go within yourself, because until you do, you will still see and project them out onto your brothers. And you do not want to see this and point it out and project it out onto your brothers. That will keep you here shackled in the nightmare you have created for yourself here. As each of us come to these understandings within ourselves and share them freely with our brothers, more and more people will start to come to these understandings themselves, excuse me. And it will have a cascading effect, a domino effect, going outwards like a ripple in a pond when you drop a pebble in. It just cascades outward, getting bigger and bigger. And eventually, as it says here, everyone in the sonship, when we reach that point where everyone has this understanding within themselves, we move forward together. No one is left behind. And all of these things that we perceive happening and we judge, these perceptions, these understandings will continue coming until we have reached that point of moving forward together. Then those perceptions will no longer be needed. They will fall away. Alex?
Illusions are investments. They will last as long as you value them. Values are relative, but they are powerful because they are mental judgments. The only way to dispel illusions is to withdraw all investment from them, and they will have no life for you because you will have to put them out of your mind. While you include them in it, you are giving life to them. Except there is nothing there to receive your gift.
That last sentence sounds funny. It does. It sounds really funny. So let's back this up. Illusions are investments. They will last as long as you value them. This is true. So as long as you hold and place value on these things that are not true, they will stay in place. As long as you continue valuing them, they will stay in place. But the moment you choose to let them go and find that they have no more value for you, they will fall away. No longer of service, no longer needed. They fall away. And as it says here, the only way to dispel the illusions is to withdraw all investment in them, all belief. That is what you're investing here, folks. Belief. You are investing your beliefs, your trust, and your faith into these items. This is why you have to make a choice to take away and transfer that belief, that faith and trust to Holy Spirit instead. Because without your trust, your faith, and your belief in them, they have no life of their own. They stop living. They stop being. And what it's saying there is, while you include them in it, you are the one that gives them life. As long as you are believing in it, you are the one that gives them life. Nobody else is giving them life for you. You're doing it all yourself with your choice to believe in them. And recognize this last sentence. Your choice to believe in them and give them life, except there's nothing really there. That's the illusion. Those things you're choosing to believe in aren't real. They're not true. That's why they're not even there. There's this belief going around that the planet, the world isn't real, nothing is real, therefore you're not real. And the thing here that people tend to not understand is that you're eternal. You will always exist. You are real. What you happen to be in right now, this shell, this body, is not real. It's a car to get you from experience A to experience B. Nothing more, nothing less. So when you are looking at all your excess baggage, recognize that you're the one that's making the choice of what is going to stay, what is going to go. And you are the one that's placing meaning and value on all of it. And only you can change your mind about it. But you cannot hold on to some little part of something and expect something to change. It doesn't work that way. It's an all or none. You have to give it all up or you get nothing. All right, let's continue on. 5. The gift of life is yours to give because it was given you. You are unaware of your gift because you do not give it. You cannot make nothing live, since nothing cannot be enlivened. Therefore, you are not extending the gift you both have and are, and so you do not know your being. All confusion comes from not extending life, because that is not the will of your Creator. You can do nothing apart from Him, and you do nothing apart from Him. Keep His way to remember yourself, and teach His way, lest you forget yourself. Give only honor to the sons of the living, and count yourself among them gladly.
Read that last sentence one more time, please.
Give only honor to the sons of the living God, and count yourself among them gladly.
You missed the word God the first time.
I know. I'm trying something out.
You're skipping over God?
No glasses.
Oh, I see.
I need to get my eyes checked.
Well, maybe you should wear your glasses so that you can see God.
Oh, I don't need my glasses to see God.
Apparently you do.
Stop judging.
It wasn't a judge, that was an observation.
No, I'm seeing God, dear. So, thank you for the correction.
No problem.
So, as it says here at the beginning, the gift of life is yours to give because it was given you. You are unaware of your gift because you do not give it. And this is true, folks. We want to take from our brothers instead of give freely. When we judge, we want to take their free will from them. That's not giving love, that's not giving life. You cannot make nothing live, since nothing cannot be enlivened. Think about that. All the shit you've been putting value on, all the material objects, material gains, money, fame, fortune, none of that can give life. Not a single fucking bit of it. It's a distraction. That's all of that crap is. A distraction from true living, true being in the moment, and living and loving life, of sharing that with your brothers. That is true living. All the other crap, that's not living. You cannot enliven what is not real. And that's why it says here, therefore you are not extending the gift you both have and are. And so you do not know your being. Think about this. We are categorized as human beings. Key word there. Being. Shakespeare's to be or not to be. God asks us to be in the moment. When was the last time you actually lived in the moment? Without thought, reaction, or worry to the world around you? When is the last time you we're able to step into that childlike wonder and simply be. Has it been that long that you have to think about it? I was there just not even an hour ago. I was feeling all kinds of joy at the thought of making this video of the conversations we were having about drones and having drone footage in videos like of this nature. All kinds of things. I was feeling childlike joy at the ideas and prospects of different views that could bring you into our world where we're at. All confusion comes from not extending life, because that is not the will of your Creator. You can do nothing apart from Him, and you do nothing apart from Him. So, being that we are part of God, we create as He creates. And everything we do with His blessing. Because it's a choice we make using our free will. We have His full blessing to do so. Because that's what we're choosing to experience in the moment. This is why everything that we choose to do is for our benefit. We are always part of Him and do everything with His full blessing and knowledge that this is our choice to do so. Even when we blindly follow and believe without questioning. When we come to these understandings, as it says here, keep His way to remember yourself, and teach His way, lest you forget yourself. What that's talking about is as you learn and you take in this stuff and you receive these understandings and you share them with your brothers, the more you do so, the more you come to know who you truly are within. You start accepting who you are and your purpose here, which is to simply be the light you are meant to be. Continuing on here with the last sentence. Give only honor to the sons of the living God, and count yourself among them gladly. Understand that God is living within you and all around you. When you honor God and all these souls around you, and I'm not talking about just human beings, folks. I'm talking about the animals and the plants as well. All beings, even the planet. Gaia, Earth, this planet is a living, breathing entity. It is its own soul. It has its own light. And it, like all these animals and plants and all these other human beings, are here as co-creators of this reality. All of us are co-creators in this reality. We share in the choices being made. Because we are sharing in the choice to believe. Alex?
Only honor is a fitting gift for those whom God himself created worthy of honor, and whom he honors. Give them the appreciation God accords them always, because they are his beloved sons, in whom he is well pleased. You cannot be apart from them because you are not apart from him. Rest in his love and protect your rest by loving. But love everything he created, of which you are a part, or you cannot learn of his peace and accept his gift for yourself and as yourself. You cannot know your own perfection until you have honored all those who were created like you.
Okay, so as I was just saying there, talking about honoring the sons of the living God. And another thing that's being pointed out to me right now is another form of honoring them is allowing them to believe as they choose, even when it is not in alignment with what you are choosing. That is one of the ways you can honor them. And in this same way, prime example, not too long ago, about a week or two ago, my mother stopped by to inform me that our family is moving out of state as a courtesy. And as she was giving me her reasons as to why she hadn't come by or anything, and how it's been my responsibility to try and come to her. Remember the story Alex just shared a moment ago about being sent to his room and being told he couldn't come out until he was sorry for whatever it was that they imagined he had done, and that he had to tell them what he had done, and how sorry he was for it. But first he had to figure out what it was he had done. This scenario with my mother is very similar. The way I perceive it and understand it, and the way it is being explained to me by my guides, is that she is wanting me to be responsible for her choices and decisions.
And beliefs.
And her beliefs, because I'm not choosing to believe like her. She believes that I am completely, as she put it, you are fucking insane. And I'm like, thank you, but I don't need your judgments, Mother. Goodbye. And she was like, it's not a judgment, it's the truth. It's an observation. And I was like, no, that's your judgment. Because I don't choose to believe like you, you think I'm insane. I do not need your judgments. Goodbye. My mother was wanting me to bow down and conform to her choices to believe. And because I did not choose to conform to what she wanted me to believe, she felt I was insane and chose to use vitriol and anger in her defense, even so much as getting up into my face as she said it. And being an empath, I can tell you, I could feel her rage. That her own flesh and blood isn't doing what the hell she fucking taught her to do. That was the energy I could feel from her. And it was very similar to the type of stuff that Alex was talking about there. Wanting me to take responsibility for her judgments and then tell her what it is that I'm doing wrong. And it has to be in accord with what she's choosing to believe. Twisted. So, when you choose to allow them to continue believing as they do, you are honoring them. I can allow my mother to choose to believe however she wants, but that does not mean that I need to make real and believe for myself what she's choosing to believe in. There's no need for that. So the next part here, it says, you cannot be apart from them because you are not apart from him. Folks, we've talked about this. We are all connected. We are one. When you are able to see yourself in your brothers, and your brothers within yourself, with the choices and decisions they are making, recognizing they are no different from you, you then get the understanding that they are just like you. You guys are one and the same. Just like we are part of God and one with God, so are they one with us. Because they aren't doing anything different than we are. Here it says, rest in his love and protect your rest by loving. But love everything he created of which you are a part, or you cannot learn of his peace and accept his gift for yourself and as yourself. So recognize, if you choose to deny any part or portion of yourself in any way, or the truth of who God is and who your brothers are, if you have issue accepting them as they are in the moment, you are not accepting God's gift of who you are for yourself. You've chosen to put up your hand and say, no, God, I don't want to be what you've shown me I am. And you can't know your own perfection until you do choose to put your hand down and see him reflecting back to you the truth of who you are. And once you do, you will find yourself only willing to give honor to all those whose paths you cross. All right, continuing on. Would you like to add anything?
I just had a thought that, if you spend 10 minutes on every paragraph, I might as well read every paragraph if I'm going to have any video time whatsoever.
Go for it.
So if you want to comment
Please,
on the paragraphs, I'll be happy to read them.
Please.
Paragraph 7. One child of God is the only teacher sufficiently worthy to teach another. One teacher is in all minds, and he teaches the same lesson to all. He always teaches you the estimable worth of every son of God, teaching it with infinite patience, born of the infinite love for which he speaks. Every attack is a call for his patience, since his patience can translate attack into blessing. Those who attack do not know they are blessed. They attack because they believe they are deprived. Give, therefore, of your abundance and teach your brothers theirs. Do not share their illusions of scarcity, or you will perceive yourself as lacking.
Yeah. So, what it's talking about here, folks, is that once you choose to accept the truth or the atonement for yourself, once you choose to forgive yourself for choosing to believe the things you were in those moments, and start to share your understandings of those things that you have been shown are true, you become a teacher. The moment you begin to share the understandings, you become the teacher. And it's only when we teach the truth that we become a worthy teacher for another teacher. Now, keep in mind, the one you are choosing to go within and ask to guide and teach you here is Holy Spirit. It's not me. It's not Alex. It's not anybody else out there in the world. Don't blindly follow and believe everything we say. Take it in, contemplate it, look at it, and question it. We are not gurus. We're not ministers, rabbis, priests, reverends, none of that stuff. We are who we are. We simply share understandings that are being given to us. And everything, as He teaches us our inestimable worth, we share that understanding with you of your worth, of your inestimable worth. Man, I can't say that word.
I can't either.
And just as He teaches me it with infinite patience, I too share it with you with infinite patience. In choosing not to judge you, your difficulty in understanding what it is I share. In me permitting and allowing you to continue believing as you so choose, and not sit here telling you you're doing something wrong and bad, and arguing with you continuously, telling you you need to change your mind. I'm showing you your value, your worth. And I'm sharing with you the love that He speaks. Every time you choose to become upset and attack when you feel that your beliefs are being threatened, that is a call for love. That is you calling out for love. And His patience in those moments will always be called for. To recognize in those moments you are in pain and hurting inside because you are in conflict. And in those moments, you don't know you're blessed. And just like you don't know you're blessed, your brothers don't know they are being blessed either. Anytime they're attacking you for not believing as they do, they are trying to deprive you of your free choice and will. And when you do that to another, you do the same. You try to deprive them of their choice of free will. Give freely of what you are being shown, and it will be given back to you. Don't continue believing these things your brothers choose to believe in. At least not blindly. Be willing to question all of it. Because what you share and extend, they too will share and extend what they are choosing to believe just as you are doing. The difference here is they might believe in that lack of scarcity and so forth. Don't believe in their beliefs in those moments. Because if you do, you will create that belief and those things happening within you and around you. Alex.
Attack could never promote attack unless you perceived it as a means of depriving you of something you want. Yet you cannot lose anything unless you do not value it, and therefore do not want it. This makes you feel deprived of it, and by projecting your own rejection, you then believe that others are taking it from you. You must be fearful if you believe that your brother is attacking you to tear the kingdom of heaven from you. This is the ultimate basis for all the ego's projection.
Yeah, that just harkens right back to what I was saying. That in our fears, we go and we project out what we're choosing to believe. And when we attack our brothers, we are trying to take their free will from them in those moments. And it is, oh man, I'm getting all tongue-tied here. Every time that we are feeling that sense of being attacked, every time we are being judged by our brothers, because anytime we're being attacked, it's because we're being judged. We're being told that we're doing something wrong and we have something mixed up in some way. And anytime we feel like we're being attacked that way, we are the ones that are feeling like they are trying to take something from us. And we have to defend it tooth and nail, even to the death, because they are taking what we are choosing. What causes that, folks, is in those moments you are trying to believe what is being said to you as being the truth. And it causes a very conflicting reaction within you, where you find yourself in extreme anger and pain and suffering and fear, because you're suddenly questioning everything that you thought and believed to be true. And that makes you feel very vulnerable. And in the same way, your brothers choose to do the same thing. It's when you recognize that none of that stuff that you've been taught is true and you can let it go, that you no longer worry about losing any of it. You recognize there's nothing to lose, because it had no value in the first place. It really wasn't real or there. And so you just don't want it anymore. The next thing here, where it's talking about when you are judging your brothers, you are projecting out your own beliefs of things. And when you are rejecting them, you are actually projecting your own rejections of the truth of who you believe yourself to be. Like Alex was sharing about the gentleman telling him he's not a holy son of God. He was projecting out what he believed himself to be. So all of this stuff kind of comes roundabout, full circle. All of these points are being made here of the truth of what's being shared. All you have to do is be willing to look at these things you're experiencing to see how this correlates. Yeah, in everything, it's like you're defending your beliefs, folks. Every moment, anytime you are feeling like you're being attacked and you try to defend yourself, you are defending a belief. Something you hold forth as defining you and defining this world. And anything that doesn't come in line with what you have chosen to believe, you do reject. Out of hand, outright, without any thought or consideration, you will reject it. Simply because it's not what you choose to believe. Sometimes you will stop when it causes too much conflict, and you will look. And you might find, oh, hey, I had that wrong. Or, nope, I was right in the first place. Blah, 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 and keep on your way. But recognize when your brother is sharing with you or attacking you, so to speak, that they're not trying to tear the kingdom from you. They just want you to believe as they do, which is all part of the ego's form of projection. Sweetheart?
being the part of your mind that does not believe it is responsible for itself, and being without allegiance to God, the ego is incapable of trust, projecting its insane belief that you have been treacherous to your Creator. It believes that your brothers, who are as incapable of this as you are out to take God from you. Whenever a brother attacks another, that is what he believes. Interjecting here, like that guy on Facebook believes himself not to be a holy son of God.
Exactly.
So that's just projection.
Absolutely. And it harkens back to what I was just sharing.
Right. Going on. Projection always sees your wishes in others. If you choose to separate yourself from God, that is what you will think others are doing to you.
Yeah. So, being the part of your mind that does not believe it is responsible for itself and being without allegiance to God, the ego is incapable of trust. Seriously, folks, in everything we are taught to point fingers, place blame, to never take responsibility for our own choices, and to fear everyone and everything, to believe ourselves to be the victim. And as it says here, being the part of your mind that does not believe it is responsible for itself, and being without allegiance to God, whom the ego thinks is the most evil person on the world, or in creation, right? The ego is incapable of trust. It cannot and will not trust God. And that God's way is better. That God's way will heal it and get it where it needs to be. So the ego will continue to project its insane belief that we're being treacherous to God, and that our brothers are being treacherous to God anytime they disagree with what we choose to believe. They're being, going against everything God says. Or ISIS, kill the infidels because they don't believe as we choose to believe. And in that way, they believe we are trying to take their God from them. When in truth, projecting out, they're trying to take our God from us. It's flipped around. They've twisted it. They're projecting out. So it continues on here saying, whenever a brother attacks another, that is what he believes. And isn't this what we've been talking about? Anytime a brother is judging you, they are telling you what it is they believe to be true about themselves. And projection always sees what it is that you are choosing to believe in others. Take this in. You might have to read it a couple of times and really take it in. Break it down like I am right now into 1 or 2 sentences and just look at it and ask questions about it in your mind. Or if you're in a group, talk about it. So, if you choose to separate yourself from God, that is what you will think others are doing to you. So the more you judge your brother as being this or that, other than what they truly are and who they truly are, the more you project that out on them, of what you think that your brothers are doing, the more you will believe that that is what they are doing to you. Sweetheart?
You are the will of God. Do not accept anything else as your will, or you are denying what you are. Deny this, and you will attack, believing you have been attacked. But see the love of God in you, and you will see it everywhere, because it is everywhere. See His abundance in everyone, and you will know that you are in Him, with Him. They are part of you as you are part of God. You are as lonely without understanding this as God himself is lonely when his sons do not know him. The peace of God is understanding this. There is only one way out of the world's thinking, just as there was only one way into it. Understand totally by understanding totally.
Hello, Spazzy. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, God has given us his blessing. He wills for us everything we choose to experience. And it is because we have that free choice that we are being told here to not accept anybody else's choices for us. Do not accept another's will as your own. So don't accept their judgments and opinions, their labels, their projection as yours. Recognize that's theirs, and they need to own that. When you start projecting shit out, then you need to own your shit. Plain and simple. Own your shit. You're doing it. It's yours. Own it. But don't own somebody else's. Be responsible for you, not for the world and everybody else in it. That's not your responsibility right now. Your only responsibility is you, and taking responsibility, accepting responsibility for the choices you have made. End of discussion right there. Okay. So, in all of this, it's recognizing that what you choose to think, see, and perceive is a projection of your own beliefs, the things you've chosen to believe about yourself. So, once you are willing to let those things go and accept the truth of who you are, you will then extend out those things to your brothers, those truths, not the same bullshit and lies you had been doing before. Alex?
Perceive any part of the ego's thought system as wholly insane, wholly delusional, and wholly undesirable, and you have correctly evaluated all of it. This correction enables you to perceive any part of creation as wholly real, wholly perfect, and wholly desirable. Wanting this only, you will have this only, and giving this only, you will be this only. You will be only this.
I was like, that's just like, it sounded like, I don't know, a figure eight. I kept seeing a figure eight with that in my head. It felt like an eternity loop going on there, like, blah, 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 blah. Say that all again, please.
This correction enables you to perceive any part of creation as wholly real, wholly perfect, and wholly desirable. Wanting this only, you will have this only, and giving this only, you will be only this.
Say that 20,000 times fast.
The gifts you offer to the ego are always experienced as sacrifices, but the gifts you offer to the kingdom are gifts to you. They will always be treasured by God because they belong to His beloved sons who belong to Him. All power and glory are yours because the kingdom is His.
Yeah, anytime that you are out there and you perceive any part of the ego's thought system as wholly insane, wholly delusional, and wholly undesirable, you have correctly evaluated all of it. This correction enables you to perceive any part of creation as wholly real. So what this is talking about, folks, is becoming the observer. Once you recognize all of this fucking shit within yourself and have let it go and healed from it, you become the observer. And you can observe this shit in your brother. And your brother will sit there and try and say, oh, you see it, own it, it's yours. You see it, you perceive it, then it must be yours. They like to say that kind of shit. They say it to me all the time. Problem is with the abilities I have, it doesn't work that way. It's like I can see beyond the veil to certain aspects and truths that are not here in this realm of the egoic belief system. So many times what I see